Привет из Дубая. С вами передача «ГолубьМира», где разбираем крутые навыки. Спрашиваем на английском, отвечаем на русском. Подтягивайте язык или смотрите перевод в тайм-кодах. Let's talk about limiting beliefs and let's start with the definition.
If you want to be an Olympic champion, maybe you could become. If you want to be a great scientist, yes, it also will be possible. But if you have some limitation in your mind, if your BIOS or if your software which is installed in your brain will limit you, maybe you will think, okay, I am just common gray mouse and I couldn't do something extraordinary. So you will behave as everyone else. And it's very funny because some people, they are living in and studying and working in the same environment, for example, in small city, but some of them will become like a taxi driver or maybe truck driver, lorry driver, and another will become, I don't know, maybe head of a huge company or maybe hedge fund and something else. And one will live in small flat and always will count money until the salary, and another one will buy something luxury like a villa, like a plane, like a helicopter, and will live without any limitation. So limitation in the brain will create limitation in our life.
Well, I do believe it's probably might be starting with some sort of acknowledgement. So first, you probably would be seeing the obstacle, and then think like whether it's something that I can overcome, or maybe it's something that I can bypass, and to work with it. So how to actually identify the size of the obstacle, and then look into the ways like how I probably could go ahead about it.
Maxim, now I will need your help with translation. There is a Jewish saying. It's sounds like "Do not step too wide. You will порвешь штаны."
Rip
Tear apart your jeans.
Tear apart is a good one.
Okay, so and when I was hearing this from my great grandpa, I was wondering what is this about, and then I was explained. This is about if you're trying to go on the ladder or steps. How to say better in the building? There's a ladder or the steps.
Steps,
Okay,
stairs.
if you will go on stairs between the floors, you will try to step on every stair. But if you will go through 2 or 3 of them on some amount, for example, 4 or 5, you will be able to put ahead your first leg, but there would be no force or no power to load another one. So you will sit like in a spagat. Is it the same saying?
Like a split.
Like a split. So you will tear yourself or your pants apart. So if you have belief, then you could jump higher than 3-story building. Maybe it's a wrong one. But if you think about 5%, 2%, according to your current abilities, you could achieve this. So this is about obstacle. The same with salmon. When someone is going to have a nest, or is it okay to have a nest? Нереститься.
Nest.
Okay, they are going through the river and they jump and jump, and sometimes they jump for several times for the same obstacle, and in any way they will overcome it. The same could be this person. If you have a bad mark, if you have not been promoted, if your salary is not enough for you, you could work harder and harder, and then you will maybe achieve this, or you will turn around and you will go in another way, and you will choose another road. But do not try to jump on very high obstacles. In these cases, you will lose your faith.
And maybe one of the things that I remember from a couple of skills, you said it like in a different words. When it comes to number of attempts, like when we're doing exactly the same thing, there might be like a persistence that actually could be turned into the stupidity. So how to actually recognize this border and maybe like try to use a different methods.
I'm so thankful about mentioning this. Yes, even today, before our meeting, before our recording, I was writing an article about how to build optimal track of education. And suddenly I realized that there is some limitation in my head. Previously, like 8 years ago, when we started to build School of Troubleshooters, I created a path which I was believe is good for everyone to learn. These different skills they were put in order. But now, after 8 years, I was thinking maybe this is the wrong way, and I start to to recalculate how important in current life would be our skills for troubleshooters. And sadly, I found that there are a lot of skills which I was presuming as very important, this is usually technical skills, now are going less and less important, maybe because of intellect. But from other side, some of skills like PR, reputation, image, they are growing very fast. Yes, in the book, Cracking the Code of Bragинski, number 4, we're writing about this. But this was so powerful argumentation from maths I got today that I became very sad. So 8 years I was living in some limitation. I was living like in aquarium, and suddenly I should realize it is time to break the glass. And you know, to check this information, we were spending, I don't know, like maybe like 10 months. So we have been made, I don't know exactly, maybe like 600 or 700 attempts to build different kind of graphs. And you know, it was very close to the border of stupidity. If you know what to change in your next attempt and you have hope that this attempt would be better, you could take it. But anyway, you should have a limitation. For example, when I was trying to become #1 in LinkedIn, I take for myself 90 days and I have created a table. I wrote the way which I would use, and I was hoping to make like 124 experiments. And suddenly after 7.5 I achieved my success. But anyway, if after 1024 attempts, I would have another 2 or 3 hypotheses, in a way I would stop it. So always you should stop your losses if you will use language of investment bankers.
And if we look into the solving the problem as some sort of like an equation, probably some of the things also might be changed. So let's say, for example, we might be, like changing or updating our skills, or maybe even changing the people that we're trying to work on it, or maybe change the company or the object or whatever, or even the industry, or maybe even the specialization or the approach itself. So how to go about this, because sometimes when we do think about, like creating and making another attempt, or maybe changing any variable that we have in the equation, do we need to also consider the time or the effort or the resources and think, okay, maybe there is a time to proceed with something else? Maybe to add on that, I remember there was a question that you answered before in one of the YouTube shows, that you said you should treat yourself as a conveyor. So the moment the time is ended, you should switch to something else, so that the things is not piling up as in a trash bin. So how to go about the consideration of the time and the moving priorities?
You should understand that if you spend the same time and the same amount attempts as everyone else, you will get almost the same result. But there is a saying I have never used in articles. It would appear in maybe next months in one of them. The saying would be pronounced like this: the marathon cuts the laziest. А марафон отсекает отстающих. How to say it?
The marathon will cut the laziest one.
The latest one. Okay, thank you. So why this? If you will go to the start of marathon, you will find that maybe like 30,000 people were trying to run. After 10 kilometers, you will find maybe, I don't know, like 5,000. On the 33 kilometers, you will find maybe 5, and maybe 3,000 will overcome the finish line. And you know the reason why they want to start? Because they have belief. But belief and limitation in your body are quite different. For example, you want to go to, how to say, покорить Everest?
Go on top of the mountain.
For example, you want to go on the top of Everest, and you know I have been there. The height of Everest is 848 meters, and on the height like 530, I was completely ill. Okay, it's quite easy to see the mountain and think I will overcome it very easily. But when you started, it's become very hard, and the reason is you should spend like 3 weeks before you will go out of the base camp. So 3 weeks in August you should spend to make an acclimatization. The same with other. For example, you're trying to jump and swim across the Dnieper River. I was trying for several years, and you know sometimes you will find you in the middle of nowhere, and a lot of ships are going, and they're very huge. You have a lot of eagle, водоросли,
Seaweed.
seaweeds, and a lot of other like wood, cutted wood flowing across you, and everything so dangerous. It's quite opposite what you saw on the sand beach. The same, for example, when you're going on a huge project. I have been working several times in America, in Australia, and we were using helicopters instead of taxi. And if you will understand how big the size of project, sometimes you will think, if I am allowed to say that I am capable of it. So never use two big steps to come to your goals. Always you should think that better step out and do not risk your life and risk life of other people. The same with money. A lot of people, they want to invest in so-called Ponzi scheme, and they are hoping to have good return, but suddenly they become homeless. And there is a saying also I like a lot. History teaches us that that we are not teaching from the history. So if you want to be a good example, you should have a limitation, but rubber-made or rubberized one.
And this is actually was a nice response to my last question, how to make sure that knowing the limiting beliefs could help to make this world a better place. А мы рассмотрели навык ограничивающие убеждения и чем он полезен именно вам. Всем мира!